Thanks so much for joining me for this attempt at a peach look. As you know, peach is not my color. I don't typically use warm eyeshadows anymore because cool tends to look a lot better on me. So peach is a little bit of a challenge. It can get lost on my skin tone if you are like me, medium in skin tone, warmer or warm neutral. It can be a little tricky. So we've got here the Hermes palette, this one in 03, and so many of you asked about that. So that is one of the reasons I picked it up. Plus I wanted to try all the Hermes palettes out, and I purchased this specifically for this look. I didn't actually need this because I have this one, the medium rose gold, which I've been using ever since I got it. I love it. I think it's so beautiful. I had no reason to buy another one, except I didn't think this would work as well with a palette with a peachy tone or an apricot tone. So I picked this one up in medium coral. So I've got that all over my face today. I'll also be talking a little bit about the bronzer look that I've been reading about. You may have been reading about it as well. So let's go ahead and get started. This step, usually I do later, but I think it makes such a big difference. Let's do this first. We've got eye concealer because I feel like even if I don't have my skin covered up, if I have eye concealer, I feel like half of the job is already complete. So let's go ahead with the Chanel Eye Concealer in 40. And I've been going through the Chanel primers and really giving them a good try. Let's go in with this Perfecting Makeup Primer, and it's the Mattifying Moisturizing. I'm just gonna add a little to the center here. And this happens more so in the hotter months, right in between my eyebrows, right above my eyebrows, and then under here, my chin. I find with primer, the thinner the layer, the more natural, of course, that it looks. Okay, let's go in with this by Hermes. I haven't used this for such a long time, but I really like it. It's the Hermes Plein Air, and this is SPF 30. I have mine in the shade 50 Palomino. This has a little bit of an olive tone to it. So if you are more olive toned and more medium, this is a nice one, as you can see there. So this tone on me can cut some of the red. Sometimes I have a red tone to my skin. It seems like I have all kinds of tones to my skin depending on the day. Sometimes it can have a redder tone. Sometimes it can have like a grayish tone. You can really see the color there until I shear it out. This is a funny product because I purchased it in a shade that was too light for me, and it was really one of the products that worked the least with my skin. But then once I got the right shade, which is 50, it just worked so nicely. So it looks really quite natural once that eye concealer is on, and then this. It's very smooth texture as well, nice consistency, nice dry down as well. If you want a little bit of a, almost has like a glossiness to it, but it doesn't feel dewy. It dries down really nicely. Next we've got CdP Concealer, and this is in Honey. Got the number 57 brush here by Sephora. So I like to just kind of brush the perimeter out and then stamp the middle, just so I don't disturb the parts that need coverage, but then it's buffed into the rest. Okay, let's go in with this Hermes powder. It is their Plein Air 01 powder. It's translucent. It looks very white here, but actually it's quite nice. Does remind me a little bit of the new CdP powder that I like so much, in that it's finely milled, but I don't know, I haven't tested the ability to refresh makeup like the CdP can do. It does look a little bit of a white cast right now, but it will settle in. Okay, let's do this while we're waiting for that. Let's go ahead and prime the eyes. Chantecaille's Eye Base in medium. I think less is more with this product. Okay, recently filmed a video that showed a side-by-side of off-camera versus on-camera makeup, and I had done my brows with just this brow gel for off-camera makeup, and I want to show you how that looks on both brows because I don't know if it was easy or hard to see, but let's start with this first, and then we'll add a pencil as needed, because this is, gosh, this is really fast and effective, but doesn't show up really well on camera. This is Jones Road Beauty, by the way, in light brunette. I feel like that doesn't show up very well at all on camera, so we'll fill that in with pencil as soon as that dries. Let's do some eyes first, and then we'll go back. I think I just have one more palette after this to use from Hermes, and then I will have tried them all. And of course I will rank them for you. We have it right here. It's a refill, so I just popped it in there. This is the one with the peachy tone. So that's why I thought, I'm not sure this is going to work for me. Peach doesn't work really well. It gets lost on my skin here, but let's try. So we've got 03. Let's see if this surprises me, because I'm looking at this color and it's like a cool mocha shade, which is an interesting pairing with this color right here. But let's start with that color first. Let's take this Rephr. We got a Rephr Max number 2. I'm gonna add that all over the lid. This is a really pretty one and done. This one right here, if you want a cool taupey shade, it's like a cool mocha taupe shade. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's really pretty. Just adds a little bit of color, a little bit of glow. It's got a lovely satin finish. One and done if you want just that. And let's use this color right here. And that looks like it has a little bit of a red tone to it. It's not red, but I can see that it has an element of red in there, like almost a burgundy. Let's see how it looks on. Pretty. So far, consistent with the other Hermes palettes, really easy. These are some of the easiest palettes to use because they just blend so easily. And especially when these dark colors come into play, sometimes these can be kind of difficult to manage. Yeah, there's definitely a burgundy element to this shade, which is the other palette I have to try. It does have a lovely burgundy color, like a wine color to it. Beautiful. The way I would use this is to use these two colors and then this and not this, but we are going to try it because I wanted to try this peachy shade out. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that right here, right in between the two, and then maybe I'll put it a little bit above the crease also. That way it's not super pronounced. That is the reason I picked up the Chanel palette, because I thought I don't have a bronzery palette. I guess the Atlas would have been nice, but then I was just really curious about the other Chanel palette because I really am enjoying the rose gold right now. Actually, that's quite wearable. And then I'm going to take this shade right here and apply that on top because it's a little bit of a sheer glow. You can see through it, so you may still be able to see some of the peach through there. It's more like an apricot than peach, I guess, but to me it's peach. Is anything with an orangey shade, it's not something I'm typically going to pick. Okay, we've got a 201 BK Beauty. I like this because it's a little bit fluffier and I have a lot of distance between my eye and my eyebrow, so I have lots of room there to play around. So I'm gonna pick up this peachy apricot color and I'm going to just blend it above. Okay, that's pretty. And that's it for the eye. Super quick. I am going to fill in though because I really think we need to do that with the brows here because it just looks like I need to do more. This is the Jones Road in Light Brunette. I'm also going to add some mascara. And I think I might use the Hermes Mascara. Okay, I'm gonna just finish off with a little bit of the Perfect Blur powder because I feel like this Hermes powder is a lot brighter than I recall. So this is gonna help kind of just bring a little bit of color back, and then also help just finish this off. Yeah, you can see the difference. Brings back a little bit of this natural color I have. We're also going to finish off the eyes as normal. So that means a little bit of trench right under here. You can even see a little bit of the concealer just gathering there. And let's take a little bit of the Camouflage Stylo by Chantecaille. This is in 4C. Just to brighten right there. Let's take a little bit of Clé de Peau in Honey. skipped this once and I was editing a video and I thought, oh my gosh, I totally forgot this step, and I could tell. This line here went out too far, so this helps me to keep this line going more vertical rather than horizontal. This is the line I'm talking about where the shadow ends. Now we are ready for the new product. So I haven't actually taken it out of the box yet, and this time I did order the bag. The cotton pouch is the one I selected, and I picked another, I got another volume de Chanel. Actually worked out nicely last time, and always a cleanser. I really like their cleanser, so anytime we can get that as a sample, I will get that as a sample. And then we have here the medium coral. So I have here, I'll show you in a minute, the two together. I picked this up specifically, like I said, for this eyeshadow because I didn't think that rose gold would work with it. I don't know, I feel like it wasn't golden enough, but now that I'm looking at it. So this is the medium coral next to rose gold. So you can see the difference. The blushes are different. It's like, one reason I hesitated is because that is like a fluorescent looking blush there. And then this highlighter is clearly lighter. Actually, I need to take a picture of these really quickly. So let me do that first. Okay, so I was looking for a brush that would do a really nice job of getting in between here. And someone reminded me of my Ray Morris brushes. Do you remember these? They are old. So I need to try the new one, especially this, the Ultimate Cheekbone brush. This one is a really, really beautiful brush, and they have an updated version. It looks tapered on the end. So I looked at that. I might get that. Let me know if you have the new one. I'd love to know what you think of it. I need to revisit Ray Morris brushes too because they are amongst my favorites. But let's go in with this. I've got a number 5 Rephr, and I'm just going in between here to pick up the bronzer. It's not as warm as I thought it would look. Let's see. Here's how it looks on my skin tone. Looks like it has a little bit of red in there. So this is the one from the medium coral, and this is the one from the rose gold. The medium coral has something going on. Actually, this looks more golden. I'm gonna really have to take a close look. Very much a Sunkissed kind of a bronzer. Now this will be really interesting to test out this blush on my dark spots in the front, because that's why I use the Valentino, because it has a little bit of a peachiness to it. Now this has more of a coral tone to it. Just use this for now because I really want to pinpoint this and see. This is a 35. I'm going to go in here just to make sure that's the only color I pick up because I want to see what this looks like. And let's go right on top of the dark spots here. That shows you how corally this is. So if you love a good coral blush, ooh, kind of reminds me of the same type of coral that was in the Montreux. Kind of vibrant, although I'm sure that one's more vibrant. This is a number 4. I'm just gonna use this because it's a little fluffier and it's clean. So let's just take the number 4 and apply that blush. Oh, that's pretty. It is vibrant. Let's do that same thing. I really liked that I could just apply this really strategically right on those dark spots just to make sure I got that really nice place there. Sometimes I want to intensify right there just because it does help color correct a little bit. Really quite pretty blush if you like coral shades. Let's go ahead with this light. I'm gonna actually take the original brush I used because I want to pick up the highlighter, but I don't want it to be super bright. So let's see how this looks on the forehead. Oh yeah, it definitely has more of like a champagne tone to it. So I'm going to take a little bit more and just add it here. So this is more like a brightening kind of illuminating powder. Let me mix the two together. Forgot to mention I use this Hermes mascara. It's really nice. I think after a while, after it dried out a little bit, it actually performed better. Let me just swirl these together now and do that, what's it called? Bronzer. So it's when you have all of these things and you swirl them together. And then let's just go up here. And I think that does give like the most lovely sun-kissed look. Yeah, it actually looks really nice. I think I prefer this as a bronzer to the other one, but I'll have to see side by side, but that turned out really nice actually. I prefer this all swirled together. Well, that's pretty. Interesting. I feel like this one looks better all mixed together, which I'm surprised I would say. Yeah, oh, I definitely look like I've been in the sun. Let's just do the forehead with all of the colors mixed together. Chin as well, and let's go over the nose as if I was in the sun. But I'm really high on the cheeks here, right under the eye. And then let's just run it up here, just to blend these two together, even though we have like an apricot peachiness here. I think we can go down the bridge of the nose actually with this color because it's so light, this champagne. Let's try. Okay, and I can see we are on the brink of showing some texture with this glow here. Actually, let me add a little bit more color here to the forehead. So I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Perfect Blur Powder, but let's do a bit of marble first. Perfect Blur Powder, just to take down that potential for texture. To take this down just slightly. Build the bronzer piece, so I feel like it got lost a little bit. Just taking the bronzer and then this middle color, just building it up a little. Now we've got to find a lip. Okay. Oh, by the way, my hair isn't super straight today because I used the DYSON Airstrait, but then I wanted to go in with the DYSON Airwrap after that. So interesting though, since the Airstrait makes the hair so dry, the curls didn't take as well on the Airwrap. So I think for both of those products, damp hair is really key to how well the style will come out. Okay, so let's go in with a lip. And I'm not quite sure about the lip, but I thought we could try this one, Queen Musia. This is in the shade Montreux, and I like the packaging. It's really interesting. Oh yeah, Queen Musia. So I thought this might be a good one to try because it's got a bit of peach in here. So let's see. So you can see it's gonna be bright. And this is not normally what I wear, but I thought we could use it as like a base to go from. If you do like that like bright lip, but I think that this is a nice way to even out the skin tone, and then we can put a color on top of this. And I feel like maybe something more mocha-y. Let me see, what do I have here? Let's play. So I've got my Rouge Coco Bombs here. I got some muted tones that we can look at. Sweet Treat. Maybe, let's see. Or let's try maybe Fall For Me. Let's try Fall For Me and see what happens. We might start over, but I wanted to show you that lip. It's a really comfortable formula. It's a little bit bright for me though. So that brought it down a little bit. Let's keep going. Let's see what we can do here. I want to try and mesh kind of the colors of the product that I tried on. Let's try Natural Charm on top of that because I think it'll bring it down. It kind of reminds me of like this whole palette, Natural Charm. Let's try. Let me just blot my lips here. And I don't think this is available anymore, but Keep Cool. I'm gonna add that to the center if you have this. Okay, I have to go fix my hair again because it has a life of its own. Yeah, I think when I put a little bit of curl in it, it just is a bit more high maintenance and completely straight. Okay, so this is a final look, and here's the look up close if you wanted to take a look. was able to pull it together for a couple of reasons. One, because I didn't use that peachy shade or the apricot shade too heavily. I really like these three. It's kind of the same case as 01 that has the pink shade right here. I like the neutral shades, and I like having the option of not using this if I don't want to, although I think it worked really nicely. So lovely palette if you were interested in this, because I know some people have asked me about specific palettes. This is a lovely neutral palette if you wanted it and you like this accent color. This does, however, pull a little bit cool, while this one has just a tinge of like a burgundy tone in it. And then you can have this lovely shade. Actually, it works really well with the bag that there, the gold with the gold hardware, I think works really well with that one. I think it really does come down to color story with Hermes. So in my experience with Hermes palettes so far, I've tried almost all of them. I just have one left I have not tried. All of the palettes, regardless of their color stories, have performed very consistently. Very easy to use. Some of the most beautiful palettes on the market and very wearable color stories. I love the Prada eyeshadow formulation, but they are not as wearable as the Hermes. So if you want a little bit of color, but still wearable, the green one is lovely. So is the blue one. I love both of those. I'm really glad I picked up this in medium coral. Let me just show you, and perhaps I can do a little swatch of the two compared between the warm coral and the medium rose gold. And I think that I would not have had as successful as a result if I used the medium rose gold today, because this picked up on the same, actually let me hold these two up. This might help if I held these up together. These worked better, I think, together than if I had the rose gold. So let me hold up the rose gold here in a minute. You can see why I thought this might be a better match. Actually, those apricot colors look very similar, that corally color in there. And then the medium rose gold. If I had put those together, actually they don't look super off, but I feel like the other one just worked better. So that's why I picked it up. I think the Atlas would have gone really well with this, the Hermes bronzer that I have. So I'll go ahead and swatch for you side by side. We've got medium coral, and then we have medium rose gold. And then we also have the Atlas bronzer. This one's by Hermes, and this is the most golden. The Queen Musia Montreux. You could see how bright it was, and I was able to use some of the more sheer products. So these are sheer, these Rouge Coco Bombs. They provide color, but again, sheer. So if I were to apply them directly on my lips, I already have lots of color going. So it's influenced by the color underneath. And then I have like a natural lip liner, which can be a pro or a con. But if I want to just have a completely even skin tone first to begin with, it's nice to start with something more opaque. So this actually worked well as almost a primer for these products. And then I think I was able to layer them well enough to be able to get this to be harmonious with the rest of the makeup. So I will at some point try these side by side for you and let you know. But as you can see, I've been using this every day since I got it, the rose gold one. So we'll see how much I pull for this one. This one reminds me of a more of a Saint-Tropez kind of a tan look. For some reason, I don't know if it's because of the more corally shade, but it's beautiful. So they are very different though. And then overall, this medium coral, I really liked them together as that bronzer kind of idea. So let me know if you want me to go more in depth about the bronzer look, because I would like to try this with a little bit less of a structured eye, little more informal, a little bit more, not haphazard, but more casual look. I think that might be really interesting for more of a beach look. But this is a very polished kind of beach look. That is it for my attempt with peach makeup, which, you know, is a challenge for me, but I enjoyed the challenge and I think it's interesting. I don't know if it's something I would wear all the time, but I think it's interesting. I might have to get used to it just looking at it. Sometimes it comes down to I just need to get used to a certain color or look on me, and then I'm comfortable with it. So we'll see how it goes. But let me know if you have any tips and tricks around this eyeshadow palette or peach palettes in general, as well as the medium coral palette. I always love learning from you, so please leave those in the comments section below. But that is it for today's video, so please take care of each other, stay well if you enjoyed this video. If you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time.